School attendance matters for so many different reasons. We know that school attendance is really closely linked or correlated with academic achievement. We know that students who have higher rates of attendance are more likely to persist in school and graduate. What we're learning more, I think, about absenteeism in recent years is that absenteeism is also related to other things that might be going on with the student. Maybe there's learning difficulties happening for the student. Maybe there's social or peer concerns, or maybe there's something going on at home. So being able to track attendance and notice when kids are not there can also allow us to ask some questions and to delve more deeply into what might be going on. And I think one of the last most important pieces for me around why attendance is so key for students is that it just provides them with a wealth of opportunities that they don't have access to if they're not at school. Being exposed to different ideas, different perspectives, having the opportunity to develop critical thinking skills, access to technologies, learning potential possibilities for their futures that they may not be exposed to without being in a diverse context like a school. I see many parallels with my own education system and systems I've worked with internationally that would really be applicable to the Uruguayan context. One of the topics that's come up many times is this idea of school climate. The environment that's created within a school for the students and then also for the teachers really has a significant impact on their willingness to come to school, but then even more importantly, their willingness to persist in attending school. Another piece that I've been hearing about is this idea of preparing educators to be able to support families and for them to be able to work together. So some of the initiatives that I've been hearing about this week are really about communicating between home and school to make sure that everybody has a really common and shared understanding of what is the state of attendance for the student, how many days have they missed, and it's been really fascinating to hear about the advances and the interventions that are happening here, which actually I think could be brought to other contexts the other way. I think one of the most common mistakes I see when systems are starting to think about absenteeism is that they consider this to be a simple issue, and they often consider it to be an issue that is just a choice. Maybe a child is making a choice to not come to school, but maybe that's because they don't see it as a place where they can be successful. Or maybe none of their friends are going to school, they're all going somewhere else. So while we may see that as a choice on the part of the student, there's actually a lot more going on that we need to understand. So I think that really simplistic view or that kind of negative blaming view of absenteeism as being just a choice that's being made is a mistake that I would really hope that you would be able to avoid. I think it's tempting in education to want to look for those quick wins. If we're addressing something that's as complex and deep-rooted as chronic absenteeism, then we need to understand that there may be changes that we can make quickly, and then there's going to be really deep shifts that are going to take many, many years as the systems shift themselves. So I think part of what I've heard happening at CEBAL are some interventions that are low cost and that actually can have a quick impact on families. So the example of just providing families with monthly updates on how many days have been missed. This is something that can be put into place quickly. It's really accessible, and actually it can affect then what families do the following month to support their children to get to school. But digging more deeply into other groups of students for whom absenteeism issues are rooted in more complex problems, where we might need to look at their mental health, for example. If we look at issues that are more structural, maybe around if teachers are able to spend multiple years at the same school to be able to create a positive climate. Some of those structural issues are much deeper and will require layers of policy shifts and probably deep conversations between different organizations. And so some of those are going to take many, many years. So I think a multi-layered approach is always best. There's changes that can be made in the short term, but then really being able to understand that that long-term structural shift is going to take time.